Hello everyone. Here I'm going to show you how to use version 5 of my language reader program. If you go to GitHub to the link that I shared, it should take you right to this page. And I have in here the zip file of the program right here. You want to download this. You don't need to download these other things. Unzip that and save it into some directory that you have. And then I got some starter dictionaries or lexicons, as well as a few starter stories. If you want a different language, I can get that to you as well. Um, so I've got like a Hebrew one. I've got a Korean one here somewhere. Looks like maybe I need to add it. And the German one, oh, I didn't add the German dictionary. I will add that. Okay, so you download those as well. What I would recommend is you have a folder for stories, a folder for your lexicon, but you could do whatever you want. The program will remember which folders you go to for your lexicon and your stories. So if you're switching languages, it just makes it a little bit easier. But let me show you how to run this once it's installed. So if I go to language, Reader, you can see here, I even got the nice little custom icon working with it as well. And if I click open, you get a screen that looks like this. And these are the different features. I've got a start page, which will launch you to the different things. The first one, of course, is the reader. So if you click on that, you can open up a lexicon. So if I click here, it goes to the last place I was at. And I could pick Spanish as my lexicon and click open. When I do that, you can see here that it's showing you what's in that dictionary. So I've got 46 words that I just said ignore. These are like proper names and stuff. They're not Spanish. There's a bunch of words in here that uh, I do not know yet, or I haven't marked them as known. Words that I've seen, words that I've marked familiar, and then I've got 4,349 words that I know. So it's just kind of letting you know what's going on in here. And I come over here to open text. And if I go to stories, I could pick a story in Spanish and click open. And you can see I've already read this story and have marked it up. So all these words that are in white background are words that I know. The words that are yellow are the words that I've seen. If you click on the word, it will show you the definition here as well. Um, and I can change this. I can even move it back to new or ignore it if I want to, or push it forward to familiar or known, however the case may be. So as you're reading through a story, you could kind of go through this, and when you see a word that you don't know, then you can click on it. Since I've been through this, I don't have any blue ones to show you. So I just show you with one that I do know, like here, con just means with. Let's say that this wasn't here. I click lookup, it opens up DeepL and shows you the definition. You can hit copy and paste that in there and then mark it as seen, and that will set it. If you don't mark it as seen, if this is new and I hit close, it will pop up and say con is marked new but has a definition. Do you want to move it to seen? This is a feature that I added because sometimes I'd forget to click seen. And you could say okay, and now you could see that this is highlighted in yellow. Um, oops. Uh, this is highlighted in yellow. Oh, what's going on here? Okay. What I like to do with this is put this off screen on another monitor, but you can do what you want. You can resize this as well, so you can kind of do it like that, make it a little bit smaller. um, as well. Sometimes you want to know phrases. So, like here, I was reading this story and I saw that this says La mesita de noche, and I'm like, what is that? Well, this means nightstand. And so I thought, well, I was just basically testing it out. But if you highlight multiple words, this makes it a phrase, and you hit Alt T, and it will bring it up and say La mesita de noche, and here's where I already found nightstand. And you'll notice that it's marked seen. So this phrase, marked seen, is completely independent of these individual words that are in here. So again, you could treat a phrase just like you do anything else. For example, you see that mesita is yellow. This means little table, literally, and so it's in yellow, but I already know what la de and noche is, so those are all white. That doesn't matter. You see the yellow underline under here. That's saying that there's a phrase here that's in the seen mode. And again, I can change that phrase just like you can words as well. So you could read through your story. If you want to do multiple stories in the same language, you don't need to leave the lexicon. You could just hit clear story, open up a new text. So I've got one here that's a bathroom adventure. These are stories that I had my AI write. Here you could see is where I ignored some words because they're just proper names. And so I didn't care about them. Oh, here's a blue one. So here, plato, right? I actually know this word. So I am going to go ahead and mark this as known. And you'll see that it's no longer it's now highlighted in white. And up here, one went down here and one went up here in my counts. So that's how this works. So you could just kind of go through this. Looks like I need to finish this story because I got some blue words in here. Here's montaña, is mountain. I know that. It's already got a definition, so I can mark that known, so forth and so on. If I say like lighter, this means leader. Um, Normally it wouldn't have a definition here, but my dictionary is a little goofed up, so don't worry about that. But anyway, I'm going to mark that as familiar. So I don't think I totally got it down in my head, but I have it this way. So you could do this over and over again. You can go back to start. When you do that, it will clear out both of these things. You don't have to worry about doing that again. And then let me show you, I added a feature where you can review your dictionary. So you can pull this up, open up a lexicon. I can open up that Spanish one that I just had open. And down here are all the words, and it shows you their stages. Over here, you see the review dates. Talk about that in a minute. And you can click edit here and edit it. Um, and you can even change the status. And then over here, it gives you a little peek at the JSON data that this is in. It's kind of techie stuff. Don't worry about it. But you can see that it's set up in here. So this shows you abajo. I know it. It means down, below, or downward, and it is a word. There's also phrases in here. See if I could find one pretty quickly. Uh, Not seeing one off the cuff here. I thought I just saw one. Okay. You could do searches up here as well. So I could say dentro, I think is, well, oh, that's marked word. That shouldn't be a word. I got to fix that. So here's how you could fix this. La bandeja de horno means baking tray, but it says it's a word. So I could click on edit here, And I could go up and change this to phrase because that's what it should be. And then hit Save Changes. And now that's set to a phrase. Here's that La Mesita de Noche. That's a phrase. Shows you that's set to scene. So you can kind of go through this. You could go up here and say, only show me the familiar ones. But this is mixing and matching, so it's only the familiar ones that have and de in it. So I'm just getting those two. So if I clear this out, I'll get all 74 of the words that I've marked as familiar. I just put this in here as a way to review. You can even search both directions, your target language only or your native language only, however you want to do it. So this is just a way to review your lexicon if you want to do it. If you go back, this familiar word review was previously in the reader itself. I've broken it out separately. So if you click on this and hit Open Lexicon, pick that Spanish one again, and you can see it here. It shows me how many entries I have total and how many that are in the familiar pool. There's that 74 that we just saw. And here is how many are left after I do this one. So it shows you the word. So these are only the words that I've marked as familiar. And what I like to do with this is I like to go through my familiars and mark them as known if I really got them down. So I look at this, Acadios, Acadians. I'm like, well, I kind of hesitate on that, so I'm going to keep it familiar. En su lugar is, oh, got to fix that one. It means in its place. Um, so I'll keep that familiar. Vestido is dress. I know that one, so I'm going to mark it known. So you could do this and go through. And now you can see there's 73 words in the familiar pool. It went down by one. And here I've got 70 words in this particular session that I'm doing. So you could cycle through these. You can move them back to scene, you can keep it familiar, or move it to known. Then this is the new feature that I added, which is spaced repetition. You can go forward with your target language as your clue, and then you can see if you know the native word, or it could show you the native and you can run it reverse, and it keeps track of them both ways. So this is where those dates come into play. If I click on this, I'm going to open that same dictionary again. Click open. So the first word that I get is a causa. And if I click review, because, and I'm going to say, I pause on it a bit. So I don't think I should call it easy. I'm going to call it medium. If I mark it medium, this word will pop up again in 7 days. If I mark it hard, it'll come up tomorrow, or the next time I open this. If I mark it easy, it sets it out 30 days. If it gets 3 easies in a row, it will, if it's 2 easies in a row, it sets it out a year. If I mark it a third time a year later, it sets it out a century. So it effectively just removes it from review. So I'm going to keep this a medium. So this will pop up in 7 days. Abandonar is to abandon, leave a place. So I knew that pretty easy. I'm going to mark that easy, so forth and so on. And then how you do this in the reverse is you click on this. Again, open your same dictionary. This is where it remembers what folder you were in, makes it kind of easy. And now I'm getting the reverse of this, abandoned, abandando, abandano, abandonado. Okay. Well, since I couldn't pronounce it that well, I'm going to mark that a medium. To encompass or comprise, abacar, I had no clue. So I'm going to mark that hard. Abordar, yeah. So I'm going to mark that one easy. So this is a way that you can review the words that you're adding to your dictionary and process them through. Uh, I think that's pretty much it. If you go back to the reader, again, this covers any language going in either direction that you want. So you could see here, I haven't moved it in here, I guess. I've got a Hebrew one. It's very small number of words. And then I can, looks like I need to go to my downloads folder and open up. This is the first, uh, oops, did that again. That's a little funky. I don't know why it's doing that. But this is the first day in Genesis. I think it's the first 4 verses. So again, you just mark these any way that you want. So here I can click on this, Mayim. It means water. I know that word, so I'm going to mark it, and you'll see that it did this, and it flipped it to known. Harakia, here I can click lookup, and it says the sky, which is true. It also kind of means dome, but I could copy that, and I can paste it in here. And again, if I just hit close, it will ask me if I want to mark it seen. So I'm just going to move it to seen. And now we've got it here. So you could do Hebrew exactly like this. Now, Hebrew can be written with or without the vowels. So this will recognize it either way. So if you see Elohim here, which means God, with vowels or without, it will still keep it in the dictionary with one value. So it's not thinking it's different words just because it has vowels in it. So that's a feature that I added. If I clear this out and open up, if I could find it, the Korean lexicon that I created. Uh, this is for a Korean native speaker reading English. So, not sure where I put it. It's not in there. Uh, oh, right here. It's in front of me. So this is Native Korean Target English. So I'm going to click that. I made this for a coworker. And then you want to load an English story. So this is a little story in English I had my AI write called A Walk in the Park. You could see that again, this is a small starter dictionary. So I've just done a little bit while I was testing. So if I click on group here, I can hit lookup, and you can see that it's feeding it English and it's giving me the Korean. Now, I don't know if that's correct. I'm going to have to trust DeepL that it is. So you can hit save in here, mark it seen, and you can see that this now is marked as seen. So this will work in any language that DeepL supports both ways. So if you're like, you could literally be a native German speaker learning Swahili, or you could be a Swahili native speaker learning Russian. If it's a language that DeepL supports, it'll be there. Okay, I think that's everything. I've showed you how to install it. I've showed you how to use it. If you got any questions, give me a holler. If you need a dictionary, give me a holler. I can give you one as a starter, and we'll go from there. Thanks a lot. Bye.